You will. Oh, not. Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Ma tovu. Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Vani ברוב חסדך אבוא ביתך אשתחווה אל היכל קודשך ביראתך מה טובו אוהליך יעקב אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל מה טובו אוהליך יעקב אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל.
Shabbat Shalom. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Temple Israel. I am Rabbi Michael Walt, together on the bima of our beautiful sanctuary with Cantor Shira Lissick. We are here this morning to pray and to study in honor of Shabbat, and this morning to celebrate with the family of Liza Simon, some of whom are with us here at Temple Israel. Liza led us in Kabbalat Shabbat last night, and this morning she will lead us in prayer and be called to the Torah for the very first time as a bat mitzvah. So we'd like to welcome all of our regulars who are here and all of Liza's friends and family who are joining us over Zoom and over StreamSpot. This morning, in the opening of the Torah portion of Tetzaveh, we encounter a familiar term, the Ner Tamid. Today we would translate Ner Tamid as the eternal light, but in the Torah it has a slightly different meaning. We read the term in relation to the commandment to the Kohanim, the priests, to light the menorah the golden candelabrum that was displayed in the ancient temple. God instructs the priests to kindle this light regularly, meaning every evening. It burned from evening to morning and had to be relit the next evening. But today, our Ner Tamid above the ark stays lit constantly. Even when no one is in the building and every other light is off, our Ner Tamid, our eternal light, provides illumination in this room. I found the Ner Tamid to be an especially meaningful symbol of our resilience in this time that our synagogues have been empty. Liza, as you become a bat mitzvah today, I'd like you to think about how your connection to Judaism can embody both meanings of the Ner Tamid. Like our Ner Tamid that always remains burning, may your attachment to Jewish faith, to Jewish traditions, to Jewish people be a constant presence in your life. But like the ancient menorah of the priests, know that your Jewish connection is something that has to be relit regularly by you, by the choices you make as you travel from today into your years of adulthood. So Liza's already joined me on the bima, and I'd like to invite her parents, John and Stephanie, to come forward and stand on either side. Now, John and Stephanie, you two are very used to using clothing to help people look their best, are you not? You've done it a few times, but I'm going to share a little secret with the people here. There is at least one garment that I can think of that you cannot provide at Paul Simon and Company that will make Liza's bat mitzvah outfit perfect. Now, Liza, you look great, but there's one more accessory that you need before we can get started, and that is Liza's beautiful talit. As an adult member of the Jewish community, you will wear a talit when you come to pray in Temple Israel or anywhere else. So this is a beautiful talit. Where's this talit from?
This talit was Molly's, given to her at her bat mitzvah, and Liza wanted to wear it this morning.
So it's used by members of your family and passed to Liza. So John and Stephanie, would you please recite the first bracha, the first blessing for raising your children in the Torah?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvah tov, v'tzivanu lagadel banim laTorah.
Amen. And Liza, would you recite the blessing before putting on the talit?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvah tov, v'tzivanu lahitatef bat tzitzit.
Amen. And now you can wrap Liza in her talit. And all three of you can recite the Shehecheyanu, the blessing on doing something for the very first time.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh.
Amen.
Lazman hazeh, lazman hazeh, lazman hazeh, lazman hazeh.
Now we are ready to do some davening. You guys can go back to the front. See, Liza, you're going with them. And we're ready to get started with Shacharit, with the morning service. We turn in our Sidor Lev Shalem, to page 147, the second paragraph, Shochen Ad.
Yesharim tiparach uvdivrei tzadikim tiparach shochenan marom vekadosh shemo shochenan marom vekadosh shemo shochenan marom vekadosh shemo בפי שרים תתהלל ובדברי צדיקים תתברך ובלשון חסידים תתרומם ובקרב קדושים תתקדש ובמקהלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל. שכן חובה כל יצורים לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו להודות להלל לשבח לפאר לרומם להדר לברך להלל ולקלס על כל דברי שירות ותשבחות דוד בן ישי עבדך משיחך.
Page 148, please rise.
ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו. ברכות והודעות מעתה ועד עולם, ברוך אתה אדוני המלך כתוב בתשבחות, אל ההודעות האדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלכי העולמים.
אמן.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
ביום דברה חילותי, ביום מלכותי, בחיי חון וביום חון ובחית בית ישראל. בגלל בזמן קריב אמרו.
אמן.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יפרח וישתבח ויבר בתרומם ויתנשא ויתעזר בישראל בישראל שמי קודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא וימרו אמן.
Page 149, the bottom of the page.
La 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 la. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam ba'ed, Le'olam ba'ed. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who forms light while creating darkness, who brings harmony while creating all. May be seated, page 150.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, יוצר אור ובורא חושך, עושה שלום ובורא את הכל. הכל איתך בכל שם וכל חיים. אפס פתח הגואלין לימות המשיח, ואין דומה לך מושיענו לתחיית המתים.
Page 151, El Adon.
אל אדון על כל המעשים, ברוך ומבורך בפי כל נשמה, גודלו וטובו מלא עולם, דת ותבונה סובבים אותו, המתגאה על חיות הקודש, ונדר בכבוד על המרכבה, זכות ומישור לפני כיסו, חסד ורחמים לפני כבודו, טובים מאורות שברא אלוהינו, יצרם בדעת, בבינה ובהשכל, כוח וגבורה נתן בהם, להיות מושלים בקרב תבל, מלאים זיו ומפיקים נוגה, נאה זיום בכל העולם, צמחים בצאתם וששים בבואם, עושים במה רצון קונם, פאר וכבוד נותנים לשמו, צהלה ורינה לזכר מלכותו, קרא לשמש ויזרח אור, ראה והתקין צורת הבנה, שבח נותנים לו כל צבע מרום, תפארת וגדולה, שרפים ואופנים, וחיות הקודש. לאל אשר שבת מכל המעשים בהם ושביעית עליו, ושביעית כבוד קודש. תברך משה שבח מעשה ידיך, והמאורי אור שעשית, יפרוך הסלע.
Page 153.
תתברך צורנו מכנו וגואלנו, בורא קדושים, ישתבח שמך לעד מכניות. כולם אהובים, כולם ברורים, כולם גיבורים, וכולם עושים עם אוויר הרצון קונם, וכולם פותחים בפיהם בקדושות תורה, בשירה ובזמרה ומברכים ומשבחים, ומפרים ומעריצים ומקדישים וממליכים, את שם האל המלך הגדול הגיבור והנורא, קדוש הוא. וכולם מקבלים עליהם עול מלכות שמיים זה מזה, ונותנים רשות זה לזה, להקדיש ליוצרם בנחת רוח, בשפה ברורה ובנימה קדושה, כולם כחרונים ואומרים ביראה, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. והאופנים וחיות הקודש ברעש גדול מלצים לעומת צרפים, לעומתם משבחים ואומרים, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו, ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות.
Amen. Page 154, we gather together the four corners of the talit as we prepare for the Shema.
והביאנו לשלום ארבע כנפות הארץ, ותוליכנו קוממיות בארצנו, כי אף ישועת אתה וברכת מכולם ולשון, וקרבת לשמך הגדול סלע באמת, להודות לך יחדך באהבה, ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך, בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובישעריך, והם שמעו תשמעו מצוותי אשר אנוכי מצווה אתכם. Adonai Elohechem
Bottom of
emet.
page 156.
לדור ודור קיים ושמו קיים, בחיסון נכון בכתב ומונת עולי קיימת. ברב חיים וקיימים. אמת שהתורה נעלנו בלווי אבותינו ואימותינו, מלכנו מלך אבותינו ואימותינו, גואלנו אל אבותינו ואימותינו, יוצרינו וישועתנו, פותנו והצילנו בעולם שמך, אין אלוהים זולתך, עזרת אבותינו ואימותינו אתה הוא מעולם. מגנו שלנו
We're in the middle of page 158. Please rise for Michamocha.
תהילו להליון, ברוך הוא מברך, משה ומרים ובני ישראל לכנו שירה, בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, שירה חדשה, שיבחו גלים שמך שפתיים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו, ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ובטחנו בך יהודה וישראל, גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We begin the Amidah together out loud, page 159.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ולמען אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב ביד נביאך, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Meloch haaretz kevodo. אז בכל רעש גדול, אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול, מתנשאים נאומת שרפים נאומתם, ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומך מלכנו, מלכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך, תמלוך בציון. מתי תמלוך, תמלוך בציון. בקרוב בימינו, לעולם ועד תשכון. בקרוב בימינו, לעולם ועד תשכון. תתגדל ותתקדש, תתגדל ותתקדש, בתוך ירושלים, ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, ולנצח נצחים, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לנצח נצחים. ועינינו תראינה מלכותך, כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך, על ידי דוד משיח צדקך. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, באלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור לגיגון לכל לנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, בשבחך אלוהינו מפירים בשתי עולם ועד, כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue silently.
May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom, bimromav. Oh, say shalom, bimromav. Huyase shalom. Huyase shalom. Huyase shalom. Aleinu.
Page 167, Kaddish Shalem.
יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה.
Amen.
ועמד יברח חירותי במתפלגותי בחיי חונו ומחנו בחיי תוך בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יפרח וישתבח ויפאר בתרומה וינשא ויתעזר וישראל ויצלח שמי לקודשא בריחו. לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלתנו ובאותנו זוכי ישראל קדם אבוני ושמי ואמרו אמן. יהי שם רבה מן שמי וחמלין ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
Amen. We turn to page 168. I am so happy to invite Liza Simon to the Bima to lead us in the Torah service. With this ark opening, we honor her aunt and uncle, Lauren and Daniel Simon, who are joining us over Zoom. Mazel tov, welcome. Good, there you go, caught them by surprise. And James, would you come up here also? You've got the technical part of this. Page 168, please rise for the Torah service. Not yet, I'll tell you when.
Ein kamocha va'elohim Adonai, yein kemasecha, malchutecha malchut, kol olamim umemshasecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimlo leolam va'ed, Adonai os le'amo yitin, Adonai yivarech et hamo v'shalom. Al harahamim etiva v'irtzoncha et Zion, tibnei homot Yerushalayim, tibnei homot Yerushalayim, ki b'cha levad batanu, melech elram v'nisa Adon olamim. Vayehi bin soach ha'aron, vayomer Moshe, kuma Adonai, v'yafutzu oivecha, v'yanusu misanecha mipanecha, ki mitzion teitzei Torah, ki mitzion teitzei Torah, u'devar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato.
I'd like to invite Liza's parents and grandparents to make their way to the Bima as Liza leads us in a prayer, special prayer before the ark on the day of her bat mitzvah.
God, be with me on this occasion of my bat mitzvah. Help me make meaningful the covenant you now establish with me. Sustain me with a sense of holiness. Inspire in me a desire to be special. I do not ask that you make my life easy, resolve my problems, map out the directions of my life. I ask only that you strengthen within me the desire to mold and shape my life in accordance with your will. In this hour of my bat mitzvah, I invoke your blessings upon my parents and friends and all who have loved and cared for me and have brought me to this time of gladness. Give them joy and fulfillment in my growth and my achievement. You who turn the hearts of children to their parents and the hearts of parents to their children.
Page 170, Be Anarachet.
Be anarachet, belish me kadisha kadisha yakira, ana emar tush bechan. Be anarachet, belish me kadisha kadisha yakira, ana emar tush bechan. Yehera avakadama, tetivta libi beoraita, betashli mishalin zelibi, beliba de kolama Yisrael, v'tavu l'chayin v'lishlam. Amen.
John, would you take the Torah from the ark and pass it, Lador Vador, from generation to generation, from grandparents to parents, on to Liza, symbolizing the passing of sacred traditions to those we love. James, you can close the ark. Liza, the Torah has reached you, so you can lead us in Shema Yisrael, page 171.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Gadol Shema.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlu Ladonai iti, Uneromim Hashemo Yachdav.
Lecha Adonai Hagdula v'Hagvura v'Hatiferet v'Hanetzach v'Hahod ki chol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz ki chol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz Lecha Adonai hamamlacha v'haminaseh lechol lerosh Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehadom raklav kadosh hu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, Vehishachavu lehar kodsho, Vehishachavu lehar kodsho, Vehishachavu lehar kodsho, Vehishachavu lehar kodsho, Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, Romemu Adonai Eloheinu.
May be seated. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good morning. Welcome again to Temple Israel. Some of you are with us each and every Shabbat, and some of you are here for the very first time to celebrate with Liza Simon and her family. And we are glad that you are spending this sacred time together with us on Shabbat. This Shabbat, our Torah portion, is the Parsha of Tetzaveh, which can be found in the Eitz Chaim Chumashim on page 508, beginning Exodus chapter 28, verse 31. And we continue reading the story we started last week, which is the construction of the very first Jewish temple in the wilderness of Sinai, a temple that was known as the Mishkan, or the dwelling place for God. And early in this morning's Parsha, we are introduced to a new group of people who we have not heard about before. God instructs Moses, "You shall bring forward your brother Aaron with his sons from among the Israelites to serve me." The Hebrew for "to serve me," lechahano li, gives us the word kohen, or priest. Now, we've encountered a number of priests in earlier sections of the Torah, like Melchizedek of Shalem in Genesis, or Yitro, the priest of Midian, just a few weeks ago. But this is the first time that we read about specifically Israelite priests, specifically Jewish priests, whose job it will be to lead the Jewish people in their service of God. And the choice of who to serve as the very first priest is important. It is Aaron, the brother of Moses. So far, we've met Aaron a few times. Most prominently, he serves as Moses' spokesman, appointed by God when Moses complains that he himself is too slow of speech to stand up to Pharaoh. Aaron stands at Moses' side throughout the Exodus and helps bring the plagues that will lead to freedom for the Jewish people. But he does not speak on his own. Now, for the first time, Aaron will play a leading role independent of Moses. Jewish legend recorded in the Midrash and in classical Torah commentaries spill much ink on why Moses, who has led the people so far, is not chosen to also be the one to serve God in the temple. Jews, for most of our history, have learned from this that it's important to separate religious authority from secular leadership. Later sections of the Torah detail the different types of leadership that were part of ancient Israelite life, including priests, prophets, judges, and kings, who all had distinct roles independent of each other. We know from theocracies in different parts of the world the danger of mixing the two, and we know from the ongoing disaster that is the chief rabbinate of the state of Israel, it shows the Jews would be better off sticking to this separation of powers. Other interpreters debate the story whether Moses was jealous of his brother for receiving this honor, or happy that his overshadowed older brother would now get the public attention and recognition that he deserved. One reading of this story is that Moses is indeed an incredibly humble person who is happy when others are able to take on leadership roles, while the other reading shows him as someone who God occasionally needs to remind that he does not have to do everything on his own. The beautiful part of Torah study of reading these stories is that both those readings can fit into what we read in the Torah and can be used to teach us lessons about relating to other people who are close to us when it's their turn to get attention. Personally, I like the reading of the story that Moses needs the encouragement to step back, that God tells him this is now Aaron's turn to shine. Aaron's descendants will maintain the special status of Kohanim throughout Jewish history. In fact, our bat mitzvah family today is a family of Kohanim. But since the Second Temple was destroyed and there has been no centralized Jewish religion, something has changed. Judaism has become consciously more egalitarian. The early rabbis believed that it was essential that all people, not just those born to priestly families, had a role in leading the Jewish people in the service of God. When we stopped offering animal sacrifices to God and started relating to God through prayer, a person could become a representative of the community, a shaliach tzibor, a cantor, not by inheritance, but by diligent effort. It is this very same ethos of egalitarianism that has led modern Judaism to become inclusive of women who did not play religious leadership roles until just a few generations ago. Our bat mitzvah Liza is up here today with us in the bima, not because she inherited the priesthood from her father, but because she mastered the traditional material placed in front of her. Personally, I love leading services and chanting Torah. They are skills that I spent a great deal of time developing when I was a layperson before becoming a rabbi. In college one year, I learned to chant the entire book of Esther, the Megillah that we chanted this week, and I did it both because it was a challenge and because it was a good paying gig. But yesterday was the first Purim since that year that I haven't chanted any of the Megillah, because here at Temple Israel, we're lucky to have a number of congregants who can read this book that we only read twice each year. So after yesterday, I'm proud to be part of a congregation that values both the priestly expertise, the artistic expertise of a fine cantor, and hopefully a rabbi who speaks well from the pulpit, but also values the participation and involvement of our congregants. We aspire to be, in the words of the Torah, a mamlechet kohanim, a nation where all can serve as kohanim, where all can serve as priests. So we turn in our Chumashim to Parshat Tetzaveh, to page 508, and we learn about our very first Kohanim. Page 508, Exodus chapter 28, verse 31. Our first Torah reader will be Marcy Thaler, and for this aliyah, we call on Aaron Rushvarg.
Yamod Aaron ben Hechazan Eliyahu v'Leah Rivka Rishon.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai
You are
Baruch.
muted, Aaron.
and try it one more time.
Okay.
There you go.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ve'asita et me'il ha'ephod k'lil techelet v'hayav hirirosho b'tocho sephayeh
What's going on?
Maaseh orei kifi tachra yelo yikareya ve'asita al shulam rimonei techelet bergaman v'tolat shani al shulam saviv ufa'aman zahav b'tocham saviv kamon zahav virimon al shulei hamil saviv ve'ayara l'shareit v'nishma kol v'bo El HaKodesh Lifnei Adonai Uvtzai Tov V'lo Yamut.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah le'emet v'chagei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yashar Koach to Aaron, and we want to wish Aaron a Yom Huledet Sameach, a very happy birthday. Aaron, I know we're looking forward to it as much as you are, to when we can all be here together, chanting Torah together. I know how much you enjoy it. Cantor, can we give Aaron a Yom Huledet blessing today?
Absolutely. Aaron, I just want you to know how much we miss you here in the sanctuary. You were here every Shabbos, and so it was just such a thrill to see you on screen this morning. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you. הוא יברך את אהרון בן החזן אליהו ולאה רבקה, שעלו לכבוד התורה ולכבוד השבת ולכבוד יום הולדתה. הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא I'm forgetting.
That works.
עכשיו גלה בזמן קריב ונאמר אמן. יום הולדת שמח, יום הולדת שמח, יום הולדת שמח, מזל טוב וברכה. Happy birthday, Aaron.
Happy birthday, Aaron.
For the second Aliyah, we turn to page 509, verse 36, and we call on Zev Newworth.
Baruch Adonai Barach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ve'asita tzit zahav tahor ufitachta alav b'tuchei chatam kodesh l'Adonai v'samta oto al b'til techelet v'haya al hamitznafet Shamu pnei hamitznafet yeh Daya al meitzav Aaron Nasaron את עוון הקדשים אשר יקדישו בני ישראל לכל מתנות קודשיהם והיה על מצוות תמיד לרצון להם לפני אדוני.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet b'chayei olam nota b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach Ze'ev. First of all, I like your Broadway poster collection with the signatures. Yasher Koach Ze'ev is marking the yortzeit of his mother, Ruth Newworth of blessed memory, and I will recite the Mole in her memory. But Zev, before I do, could you share something about your mother who we remember today?
Thank you for asking that, Rabbi. I will. And I thought about this question for the last few days. When I have a brother actually who's joining us, by the way, Michael Newworth, who's come from Allentown, Pennsylvania. My sister from California is on this Zoom service. So thank you for allowing them to participate. And I think my dad is on as well from New York. So just want to thank you for allowing my family to join us today in the beautiful service. And also I just want to say to you, over the many, many months of this pandemic, I can't tell you how important it is that you and the Cantor have continued these services. I don't make it to most of them, but knowing that it's there, it means a lot to me. And I think it means a lot to the community. You are keeping that light going. So I just want to say that from my heart. My mother's memory, we used to come home from school, walk home from public school every day. And we used to come to the kitchen and sit down at the counter. And my mother used to give us a little snack, and we would bring our problems to her, something that happened, something that was bothering us. And every afternoon, my mother would sit with us and talk it through with us. And what I didn't realize at growing up was that what she was doing was teaching us the philosophy of life. And whether it was around understanding other people, being generous, kindness, diversity, the meaning of life, it didn't, solving problems, it didn't matter. She just had these conversations in a very, very gentle and real and down to earth and practical way. But I took philosophy in college, but I think our biggest philosophy professor was our mother during those afternoons growing up. And it really speaks to the importance of mothers for all children.
That's beautiful.
Zev, thank you for your incredibly kind words. It gives us a lot of strength during this time to do these services. So we are glad to hear that they are in turn strengthening others. And it's great that your whole family is with you today. That's one blessing of these virtual services. And I also took some philosophy classes in college. And I think the philosophy I learned outside of those classes, like what your mother taught you, is often more helpful. I recite this El Molei Rachamim in memory of Ruth Newworth. El Molei Rachamim mishochen bamromim amitzei minucha nechona tachach kanfei hashchina malot kiroshim u'tahorim kizorkim azirim et nishmat Ruth Newworth shehalcha le'olama v'gan Eden tehei minuchata ana bal harachamim astireha beseiter kenafecha le'olamim Utzror bisrachai menishmata Adonai yonachalata v'tanuach b'shalom nishkava v'nomar Amen. May her memory always be a blessing to everyone here in Ruth's family. We continue with the third Aliyah, page 510, verse 39. For this Aliyah, we call on Irving Beanstalk.
Yamod Yitzchak Isaac ben Zevi Yehudit Shlishi.
Baruch es Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ato Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'chabonu mikol ha'amim v'nosalonu es Torah. Baruch Ato Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'shivatzta haktonet shesh v'asita mitznefet shesh v'avnei taseh ma'aseh rokeim ולבני אהרון תעשה קטנות ועשית להם הבניתים ומגבעות תעשה להם לכבוד ותפארת והלבשת אותם את אהרון אחיך ואת בניו איתו ומשכת אותם ומילאת את ידם וקידשתם אותם וכיהנו לי ועשה להם מכנסי בד לכסות בשר ערווה ממתנאים ועד יראי חיים יהיו והיו על אהרון ועל בניו בבואם אל מועד וגישתם את המזבח לשרת בקודש ולא יישאו עוון ומתו חוקת עולם לא ולזרעו אחריו.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נותן לנו תורה אמש וחיי העולם נותן בספנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נושאין התורה.
Amen. Yasher Kochef to Marcy Thaler for reading Torah, and Yasher Koch to Irving Beanstalk. Irving is marking the yahrzeit of his father, William Beanstalk of blessed memory. And Irving, I know when you tell your story to students and to others, an early part of it is often talking about going to shul every Shabbat with your father, about how you learned that appreciation of shul from him, and then not knowing what to do when he had to flee the Nazis, and then being reunited and going back to shul with him. And as we remember him today, could you share something about your father with us, about William Beanstalk?
Well, yes, I'll share a little bit about him. He was a very, very gentle man. He was a watchmaker, and he worked in the Hearns department store in Manhattan, which today doesn't exist anymore. But he was a watchmaker there, and one day a young lady came there with a watch to repair, and he looked at it and he gave her a price of repair, and she left. And a little while later she came back. Her name was Lillian Levine. And she left it there, and she came later back to pick up the watch. Sometime later, I went to with some of my friends. I was 21 years old. I went with some of my friends to a fundraiser at a synagogue in Borough Park on Saturday night. Buddy Rich was playing there. He was a well-known drummer, and they had a dance there. And lo and behold, there was a young lady that I met there, and her name was Lillian Levine. I did not know about the relationship that she had met my father, and we danced, and I asked her for a date. And 2 years later, she became my wife, Lillian, and we're married for 69 years. Originally, my father met her, and then later by accident, I met her, and we got married. We were married for 69 years.
Incredible how that works. Also, I like the part of that story about the dance in Borough Park, because I guarantee you there are not mixed dances in Borough Park anymore. It's a very ultra-Orthodox area. Now we recite this El Molei Rachamim in memory of William Beanstalk. El Molei Rachamim Mishochen Mamromim Mamitzei Menucha Nechona Tachak Kanfei Ashchina B'malot kedoshim u'tahorim kizrokim mazirim et nishmat Zev ben Yitzchak Isaac shehalach le'olamo B'gan Eden tehe menuchato ana bal harachamim astirehu b'seiter Kenafecha le'olamim u'sro b'tzochem nishmato Adonai unachalato v'yanuach b'shalom mishkavo v'nomar Amen. Irving, your father's memory should always be for a blessing. We continue, page 511, Exodus chapter 29, verse 1. Our Torah reader will be Mary Gordon, and for this aliyah, we call on Karen Finley.
Ta'amot chaya devora revi.
Baruch hu Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Asher ta'aseh lahem v'kadesh otam v'chahili v'kaharechatem bakar ve'elim shnayim tenim ve'lechem matzot ve'chalot matzot ve'lulot ha'shemen Urtikei matzot mishukim v'shamen, so let putim ta'aseh otam, v'natata otam al kal echad, v'yifrakta otam v'kal, ve'et hapar, ve'et shnei ha'elim, v'et aharon, v'et banav ha'pri, el petach el moreh,
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natah b'tochinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yasher tochech to Karen. Karen celebrated her birthday this past week. Karen, I guess your birthday last year was right as this experience was starting. And so it's been certainly a strange year since your last birthday. But what is something that this year you've been grateful for?
Well, I think reiterate what some of the other people have said. I'm grateful for the community here, but I think I've been grateful that I've been able to take a break from busy life and try to see the positive of that, and being able to spend a lot of extra time with my family, especially my daughter who's 9. I know that the years are fleeting, so I've tried to appreciate all of the extra time that we've all had together.
Great. Extra time with family is it's challenging sometimes, but also a big blessing to appreciate this year.
Yes.
We've all readjusted our rhythms, and I treasure those times too. Thank you. We wish you a happy birthday. And Kendra Lissick, would you bless Karen on the occasion of her birthday?
I would be honored to. Mi sheberach avotinu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov imotinu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah ויברך את חיה דבורה שעלתה היום לכבוד המקום ולכבוד התורה ולכבוד השבת ולהודות לשם קודשו על כל החסד אשר גמלה מיום היוולדה עד היום הזה וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיה עם כל ישראל אחיותיה ונאמר אמן יום הולדת שמח יום הולדת שמח יום הולדת שמח Mazel tov uvracha. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Karen. Mazel tov. We continue on page 511, Exodus chapter 29, verse 5. For this aliyah, we call on grandparents of the bat mitzvah, Marcel and Alan Oxman.
Yamdu Miriam bat Yosef Rivka Ve'aharon Shlomo ben Yeshuva veSara Geto Chamishi.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach.
Baruch Adonai Morach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Bochar Bonu Mikol Ha'amim V'notan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ilakavta et hafkadim, v'hilbashta et aharon et hakutonet, ve'et me'il ha'ephod, ve'et ha'ephod et ha'oshen, ve'afatata lo ve'cheshet ha'ephod, ve'samta ha'mitnefet al v'sho, ve'natata et meser hakodesh al hamiznafer, v'lakafta et shemen hamishpaha, vayatzafta al rosho, v'mashafta oto, et banav tafid, v'yubashtam kutonot, v'hazarta otam avnei, Aharon ubanav, v'chavashta lahem miktaot, v'hayta lahem kehuna lechukat olam, u'mileta yad Aharon ve'yad banav.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Notan Lanu Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Nota B'tolcheinu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach, Marcel and Alan Oxman and Mazel Tov on
Mazel tov.
celebrating Liza's bat mitzvah. You spent plenty of time on this bima, haven't you?
I have.
You have. How many years were you sitting in? Was it this chair?
That chair for 2 years.
That chair for 2 years. Where do you like the view better from?
I like it from up here, actually.
You like it from up here? Well, it's nice to have you back, Mazel Tov. I know Liza's making you very proud today.
She is. Thanks very much.
We continue on page 512, verse 10. Our Torah reader is Barney Weinstock. Yasher Kochech to Mary Gordon for reading. And for the 6th Aliyah, we call on grandmother Marcia Simon.
Yamdu Nechama bat Moshe Aharon v'Shoshana v'Pesach Shishi.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach.
Baruch Adonai Morach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam. Asher Bochar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'notan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'krafta esapar lifnei ohel moed. V'samach Aharon ubanav esidehem al rosh hapor. V'shachata esapar lifnei Adonai. Pesach ohel moed. V'lakach midam hapar v'nasata. Al kanos hamizbeach ve'etzboecha es kol adam tishpoch el yesod hamizbeach v'lakachta es kol achelev hamchases hakerev ve'es hayoseres al hakaved ve'esh haklayos ve'esachelev asher alehem ve'hiktarta mizbecha ve'espesar hapor ve'esoro ve'espirsho tisrof ba'etz michutz lamachane chatashu.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Nosan Lanu Torah Emes V'hayei olam notah b'sochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach, Marsha. Yasher Koach, Mazel Tov to Paul. It is great to have you here this morning. How do you feel? Feel good to be here?
Thrilled. I'm kfelling.
You're kfelling. That's a word that I associate with grandmothers. Mazel Tov. We continue, page 513, verse 15. For the seventh Aliyah, we call on Liza's parents, John and Stephanie, and her sister, Molly Simon.
יעמדו אייל בן פסח ונחמה, וברכה בת אהרון שלמה ומרים, ומלכה בת יעל וברוכה, שבי.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai
Baruch leolam vaed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'saylecha tikach, v'samechu Aharon uvanav, esidehem al rosh ha'ayil, v'shachatata sa'ayil, v'lakachta estamo, v'zarachta al mizbeach saviv, v'yes ha'ayil, tinateach v'netachav, Rachat stak yirbo ikrav, v'nasatal nesachav v'yavrasho, v'hiktarta es kol ha'ayil hamizbecha, Olahu l'Adonai, re'yach nichoach ishel Adonai hu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'hayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach to John and to Stephanie and to Molly. And I know you're all very proud of Liza. And you shared with me that beautiful coincidence that this very week you mark the yahrzeit of Stephanie's grandmother, Renee Buxbaum, who happened to give Liza her Hebrew name of Rivka. So you share your great-grandmother's Hebrew name. And it's really very fitting that your family remembers her this week. Can you tell us something about your grandmother?
Well, there's a lot of wonderful things I could say, but to be in this theme of Liza's weekend, my grandmother passed away about a week after Liza was born. She was thrilled to know that Molly finally had a little sister, and my grandmother's last religious ceremony was during the sanctuary at Liza's baby.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow. That is one of the many reasons why it's powerful to be here. So I'm going to recite the memorial prayer in memory of Rivka Renee Buxbaum. El Mole Rachamim, Shochen Mamromim, Mamitse, Minuchanachon, Atacha Kanfei Ashkina, Malo Kidoshim, Utorim, Kizroikim Azirim, Et Nishmat, Rivka Buxbaum, Shachalo Lama, Began Eden Te Minuchata, Anabal Rachamim, Asireha Beseter, Kinafecha Olamim, Utsor Biswakam Nishmata, Adonai Nachalata, V'tanuach B'shalom Mishkava, V'nomar. Amen. May her memory always be for a blessing. And we know that she is looking down and kvelling this morning as the next Rivka makes her proud. Sit down for a minute.
Mazel tov.
We pause for just a moment, and our thoughts turn to our prayers of healing, those in our lives in need of physical or spiritual well-being. Included in our prayers today, we think of Chana Miriam bat Rivka, Avram Mordechai ben Fega, Tamar bat Rachel Yehuda, Rav Yaakov Chai ben Hadassah, Shimon ben Yaakov, Mordechai ben Naomi, Devorah bat Sarah, Hershel Yehoshua ben Malka, Harold bat Razel, Dov ben Ita, Shmuel Yaakov ben Kalia Ba'ari, Devorah Rachel, Aviva bat Chaya, Malka bat Sarah, Leib Yisrael ben Zipporah, Aliza Meira bat Leah, Tzivia bat Chana, Zev Dov ben Baruch bat Leah, Yudit bat Miriam, Meira Bracha bat Chana, Shmuel ben Ariel, Tuvia ben Devorah, Tzipporah bat Chasha, Fegla bat Chasha, Arya ben Malka, Rachel bat Ruth, Harav Moshe Al-Chanan ben Harav Abraham Alevi, Haman Pinchas ben Moshe Be'eta, Sarah bat Chaya, Chanoch Yitzchak ben Sarah, Sarah Bas Shendel, Ruth Bat Firmamina, Yamin Noah, Avery Yitzchak, Howard and Beverly Kaufman, Elijah Avila, Jordana Faith Ram, Mabel Tannenbaum, Sue Ann Burrows, Kathy Berlin, Maxine Albaum, Sandra Harold, and Don Roth. Now we take a moment to recite the names of people you'd like to include in the prayer this morning. Misha Beirach.
Misha Beirach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Beirach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
May God who blessed our ancestors, Abram, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless healthcare workers and all those whose jobs call on them to place their lives in some danger. We bless you for honoring God and caring for God's creation. May God protect and save you from COVID-19 and send blessing and success to the work of your hands, along with all others who are doing their part to ease suffering and save lives. May God bless you every time you rise up from your bed, walk out of your home, and go to work. And may you return to your loved ones each and every day in full health. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Please rise for the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba,
Amen.
v'yalmad yibrach yirutei v'yamlik malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach, v'yalam ulol me'omaya. Yiparach, yiparach, v'yishtabach, v'yibar v'truma v'yinaseh v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei rikucha brichu, li'ela mincho bechata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, b'imeru, amen.
You may be seated. We are approaching Liza's first aliyah to the Torah, the first time she is called to the Torah. But before Liza is called to the Torah, I'd like to invite Liza to share her Dvar Torah, her personal words of Torah about this morning's Parsha. Liza, the pulpit, the bima is yours.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and thank you for joining me this morning at my Bat Mitzvah. This morning, we read the Torah portion of Tetzaveh. This Torah portion is about Moses and the Israelites who are on their journey from Egypt to Israel. God gives them instructions on how to build the first Jewish temple, which was called the Mishkan. Each day, God tells Moses to make sure the menorahs and eternal lamps continue to burn with pure oil. This commandment is still part of our lives today. In the Hanukkah story, the Maccabees keep the menorahs burning, and we continue this tradition each year on Hanukkah. Also, we always keep the eternal lamp on, which is located over the ark. Another large part of my portion are the first priests. God commands Moses to prepare Aaron and his sons to be the first priests. They were also known as the Kohanim. Kohanim are the children and descendants of Aaron. I can personally connect with this idea because my dad is a Kohen, which makes me one as well. And Father, I hope that information you gave me is correct. This means that my dad's side of the family are descendants of Aaron. The Kohanim performed special tasks in the temple and had to wear sacred garments while completing these tasks. These consisted of a linen tunic, linen pants, a hat, and a long sash. The last event that occurs in this portion is when God tells Moses how to officially initiate Aaron and his sons. They are commanded to stand outside the Mishkan with a bull that will be offered as a sacrifice. Moses will pour oil on Aaron's head and dress him and his sons in the special garments. After this, they are all officially Kohanim and can begin to pray in the Mishkan. From then on, all the descendants of Aaron have been considered Kohanim. The part of my Torah portion I would like to focus on today are the sacred garments and clothing that Aaron and his sons wore when working in the Mishkan. Even though most people don't realize it, clothing is a big part of life. If you think about it, it's actually pretty cool. Everyone all over the world wears clothing each and every day. There are so many different styles and colors that you can choose from, and everyone wears it differently and for different reasons. Some people wear clothing to express themselves, while others just throw something on in the morning so they won't get cold. I personally think I'm a bit of both, depending on what I'm doing that day. And as you can see, today was one of those special days. Like Aaron and his sons, many people are expected to dress in certain ways for their jobs. My dad, for example, who works in the clothing business, wears a suit or sport coat to work every day. Lawyers wear suits also, and judges wear robes. Doctors and nurses wear scrubs, and police officers wear uniforms. All of these jobs have designated clothing for many reasons. One is that people will recognize what you do. For example, if you see someone in a police uniform at the grocery store, you might go up and thank them for their service. Another reason is that it makes you feel in character for your profession. If you go to your office in sweatpants and a t-shirt, you would not want to do any work, but just lounge around. That's why you dress the part. Over the past year, no one has been going out and doing as much as they would in normal times. When we were in quarantine, we all just stayed home watching Netflix, except for my mother, who worked her tail off for us children. Thank you, Mom. Once stores started opening back up and people began going back to work, they had to start dressing better and looking presentable. I'm sure for many people, it was quite refreshing to start wearing some nicer clothes again. These clothes make us feel productive and useful. All of this represents how God commanded Moses to ensure Aaron and his sons wore the special garments accordingly, and still to this day, how clothes have an impact on our day-to-day life. Clothes also have a large impact on our behavior and how we feel. Sometimes, wearing nicer clothes will make you feel refreshed, while you might also enjoy wearing pajamas and being comfy. This whole topic reminds me of a song from a play that I grew up loving called Annie. I'm sure most or all of you have heard of it. It is about a young orphan on an adventure to find her family. The song in this play is called You're Never Fully Dressed Without a Smile. Cantor, would you help me out?
I would be delighted to.
Hey, hobo man, hey, dapper Dan, you both got your style.
But brother, you're never fully dressed without a smile.
Your clothes may be Beau Brummely, they stand out a mile.
But brother, you're never fully dressed without a smile. Who cares what you're wearing on Main Street or Savile Row?
It's what you wear from ear to ear and not from head to toe that matters. Hey, hobo man, hey, dapper Dan, you both got your style.
But brother, you're never fully dressed without a smile.
Your clothes may be Beau Brummely, they stand out a mile.
But brother, you're never fully dressed without a smile. Who cares what you're wearing on Main Street or Savile Row?
It's what you wear from ear to ear and not from head to toe that matters. Do 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 do. So senator, so janitor, so long for a while.
But brother, you're never fully dressed.
Though you may wear the best,
you're never fully dressed without a smile.
As you heard in the lyrics the cantor and I just sang, that song was about how clothes do not define who you are, and it does not matter what you wear, rather how you act. The theme of the song is a bit of the opposite of what I was saying before, but I think it still applies. This song actually relates to my life and my bat mitzvah in many ways. One is Purim. For Purim and throughout the month of Adar, God is constantly telling us to be silly and to smile. We are celebrating the survival of the Jews, and we have parties and festivals and eat many delicious treats. Another is my mitzvah project. For my project, I volunteered and made meals for an organization called The Relatives. This organization provides resources and safe places for youth and young adults. I specifically volunteered for the Youth Crisis Center. This section of the organization provides a safe place for youth 7 to 17 who don't have a home or needed to leave their home for various reasons. I learned many rewarding things from my experience working with the Youth Crisis Center. I had a chance to get to know some of the kids living there, and I was able to learn from them as well. One thing I learned is that you cannot take things for granted. I think we have all learned this lesson on one level or another this past year. When I think about not taking things for granted, I also think about the items and opportunities that I do have and the people in my life who made it all possible. One opportunity I have is being here today, and there are so many people who made it possible for me to do so. Two people I would especially like to thank are my parents. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. They are the reason I'm Jewish and the reason I have been so fortunate to study Torah, go to Hebrew school, participate in services, and celebrate the various holidays there are in the Jewish religion. They have been there for me for all the major and not so major events in my life. There is no word that is strong enough to express how much I love and appreciate both of you. Two more people I would like to thank are my siblings, Molly and James. Even though you guys annoy the heck out of me, you are my best friends. I love spending time with you, sharing inside jokes, and sharing looks at the dinner table when mom does something embarrassing or dad is tuning us out. I don't know what I would do if you weren't in my life. I love you guys. I would also like to thank all my grandparents, who I'm so lucky to have here in person with me today. Grandmommy, Poppy, Grandma, and Popo. This year has been rough, and spending time with you guys, whether over FaceTime or in person, has definitely helped keep up my spirits. Whether it's going on shopping trips into the Eiffel Tower or getting ice cream and riding the Hulk roller coaster, I'm grateful for everything you all do for me. Next, thank you to Rabbi Kornsgold and all of my Temple Israel religious school teachers who have provided my Jewish education. Lastly, I would like to thank Cantor Lissick and Rabbi Wolk. Thank you for helping me prepare for today. I'm so fortunate to have been able to sing an extra duet with Cantor Lissick this morning, and I always would look forward to my lessons with the rabbi. Thank you all for coming to celebrate with me. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Liza, you are precedent-setting in any number of ways. Be curious to see if Cantor gets more requests for Broadway sing-alongs. See if you started something. Great job, and thank you for teaching us. And now that you've taught us about the Torah portion, we are very excited to call you to the Torah for the first time, for your first Aliyah. John and Stephanie, why don't you stand alongside her? If you could uncover the Torah and find the beginning of the Maftir Aliyah. For this Aliyah, we turn ahead to page 517, Exodus chapter 30, verse 8, and Cantor will call you to the Torah.
Tamud habachura bat mitzvah Rivka bat Yael vebarucha maftir
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach leolam vaed
Baruch Adonai Hamborach leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Uveha'alot Aharon et hanerot ben ha'arbaim yaktirena ketoret tamid livnei Adonai ledoroteihem lo ta'alu alav ketoret sarah leola umincha v'nesech lo tizchu alav v'chipe Vashana Midam Hatat HaKippurim Echad Vashana Yechaper Alav Lidorotehem Kodesh Kedashim Hu Ladonai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher kochech, Liza. Great job. We now lift and dress the Torah for the honor of Hagba and Galila. We call on Alan Oxman and James Simon, two familiar faces. Please rise.
Yamdu Hamagbiya v'Hagolel.
Liza, step over, give grandfather some space.
Vezot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe. Vezot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. Vezot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael biyad Moshe.
Each Shabbat, in addition to chanting from the Torah, we read a Haftarah, a section from the prophets that thematically is linked to the Torah portion. The Haftarah for Parshat Tetzaveh, Eliza will chant, can be found on page 520 in the Chumashim. The prophet Ezekiel, chapter 43, page 520. Give them a second to finish.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza b'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet b'tzedek.
Amen.
Ata ben Adam haged et Beit Yisrael et habayit vayikamu me'abonotehem u'madedu et tochnit ve'im niklemu mikol asher asu surat habayit utunato umotzaa umova'a v'chol surotav v'et chol chukotav v'chol surotav v'chol toratav hoda'otam uchtov leinehem v'yishmeru et chol surato v'et chol chukotav v'yasu otam zot Torah habayit al rosh hahar kol gevulo saviv saviv kodesh kodeshim hine zot Torah habayit ve'ele midot hamizbeach ba'amot ama ama ba'ad tofach v'hei ha'ama ve'ama rochav ugvula el safata saviv zeret ha'echar v'zekav hamizbeach umihei ha'aretz ad hazara ha'tachtona shtayim amot ve'rochav ama echad umihazara hachtana ad hazara hagdola arba amot ve'rochav ha'ama V'chacharel arba amot ha'ariel umala hakranot arba v'ha'ariel shetem esrei orech bishtem esrei rochav ravuach el arbat riba'av v'ha'azara arba esrei orech ve'arba esrei rochav el arbat riba'echa v'hagvu saviv otam hotzi ha'ama v'hagla ama saviv uma'alotehu panot kadim v'yomer elai ben adam ko amar Adonai Elohim elehu kod hamizbeach beyom he'asoto v'ha'alot alav ola v'lizrok alav dam v'natata el hakohanim halvim asher hem mizerat tzadok hakrovim elai ne'um Adonai Elohim lisharteni par ben bakar lechatat v'lakachta midamo v'natata al arba karnotav el arba panot hazara ve'el hagvul saviv v'heiteta oto v'hipartavu v'lakachta et hapar ha'hafta osrapot b'mitkar habayit michutz lamikdash uvayom hashani takriv shirizim tamim lechatat v'hit'u et hamizbeach asher hit'u bapar b'chalotcha michatei takriv par ben bakar tamim ve'ayom min hatzon tamim v'hikrav tam livnei Adonai v'hishlihu hakohanim alehem melach v'hilu otam ola l'Adonai shivat yamim tases sir hatat layom uvar ben bakar ve'ayom min hatzon timimim ya'asu Shivat yamim yechapru et hamizbeach v'tiharu oto umilu yadav v'halu et hayamim v'haya bayom hashminim v'hala ya'asu hakohanim al hamizbeach et olotehem v'et shamechem v'ratziti etchem ne'um Adonai Elohim Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Zor kol haolamim Tzadik b'chol hadorot Ha'el ha'ne'eman Hayomer ve'yoseh Hamdaber kayem Shechol devarav Emet v'tzedek Ne'eman Atahu Adonai Eloheinu B'ne'emanim devarecha B'davar echad midvarecha Ahor lo yashuv rekam Ki el melech ne'eman V'rahama ata Baruch ata Adonai
Baruch Shmo.
Ha'el ha'ne'eman b'chol devarav
Amen.
Rachem al Zion ki hi beit hayenu v'la alovat nefesh toshia b'mehera b'yameinu Baruch ata Adonai
Baruch Shmo.
Mesameach Zion b'vanecha
Amen.
Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu Eliyahu hanavi avdecha, uvmalchut beit aviv meshichecha, bimhera yavo v'yagel libenu, al chisolo yeshav zar, v'lo yinhaluot et herim et kivodo, ki bishem kochecha nishbat halo, shelo yichbet nero le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen David.
Amen.
Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevim ve'al ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha v'chavod u'tifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'barhim ota yitbarach shimcha v'fi kol hai tamid le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shema.
Mikadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Now that was a Haftarah. Yasher Kochei. James, would you make sure that everyone has a projectile? Candy. John and Stephanie, would you stand with your daughter? Face towards me. You can look this way, Liza. Camera's going to catch us, don't worry. So Liza, Mazel Tov on celebrating your bat mitzvah this morning, and Yasher Kochech on leading us in services, on reading Torah and Haftarah, and sharing your personal words of Torah and your beautiful voice with us. I think it's fairly safe to say, as I mentioned to you, that people will be remembering your Dvar Torah for quite a while. Mazel Tov as well to your parents, to John and Stephanie, to your siblings, Molly and James, to your grandparents, Marcia and Paul Simon, and Alan and Marcel Oxman. Hi back there. Liza, I've heard that at home you participate in virtual services and that you are the one who shushes the other members of the family when they talk too much. So I hope that your family's behavior today has done you proud, or at least has not embarrassed you too much, until your parents get to talk later, that is, when it's their turn. In all seriousness, though, it was touching to see your family yesterday trying to come up with a number of simchas, including births, namings, b'nai mitzvahs, confirmations, and weddings that they have celebrated at Temple Israel. And I don't believe you came up with a final number, but I am glad, and I know that you are as well, that you can add your bat mitzvah to that special list of family occasions. You are known by your family and friends to be independent and to push yourself, qualities that have served you well in preparing for this day. You have, as your parents described you, a song in your heart, can learn dance choreography better than I can in minutes. And your parents think you should be on a sitcom because of your quick wit. I appreciate that you use these interests to personalize your bat mitzvah in your image. Liza herself chose the prayer that she recited before the ark. And Liza herself decided that she wanted to include a song with Cantor Lissick and figured out how to take a song that she liked and to relate it to her Torah portion in our lessons together. Now, Liza, I'd like to share a Talmudic legend with you, and then I'm going to explain why it relates to you. The story is usually referred to as the oven of Achnai, and it's referred to that because it involves a debate, an argument, over a matter of religious law involving an oven. A group of rabbis are debating this point of Jewish law, and God decides to personally get involved and lay down the law. Now, you would think that if God tells you that this is the law, then that's the law. But no, this group of rabbis refuses to concede the point and stands up to God multiple times. Do you yet have some idea where I might be going with this? Good. Let me explain to everybody else. The pandemic has forced us to lay down the law, many laws in the temple, based on the circumstances in the community around us and our best efforts to keep our congregants and staff healthy. But of course, there's inevitably debate among well-meaning people about how to best keep the people we care about safe from the virus. Liza, because of the work she spent in preparing for her bat mitzvah and because of her family's multi-generation connection to this synagogue, to this building, wanted to be physically present here, both this morning, Shabbat morning, and last night to lead us in Kabbalat Shabbat, as you did. Liza's parents brought the request to me, and I said, no, we're not doing that right now. I'm not saying I'm God. That's not the metaphor I'm making.
That's what the story's about, really.
That's the story about that I'm God, yes. But Liza did not accept that answer. Liza personally composed a letter to me in which she laid out point by point her argument for being in the temple on Friday night. Not only that, she shared her emotions about the situation. Well, Liza, I couldn't really say no to that, could I? The question is, how do I feel about that? Well, let me tell you the end of that rabbinic story. We learn what God was doing after losing the argument to the determined rabbis. God was laughing, and God proudly declared, my children have bested me. Liza, that's how I feel. I lost, and I couldn't be happier about it. You displayed qualities that many people far older than you often lack. You argued for what you believed in, for what you wanted, both logically and emotionally, but also respectfully. I hope that these are qualities that you are able to bring to every area of your life. Sometimes, often, we'll come into conflict with other people. Sometimes we will get what we want, and sometimes we don't. But being able to speak to anyone you encounter in the way that you spoke to me will make you a respected person. I'm impressed. Mazel tov on everything you have accomplished in reaching your bat mitzvah and in displaying passion and maturity in approaching a very difficult situation. Cantor Lissick, who has had the pleasure of teaching you and singing with you, will now bless you with the words of the Berkat Kohanim, the priestly blessing, followed by Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov. And when she gets to that, you can all toss your candy.
It's an honor to bless you today. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha ken yehi ratzon ken yehi ratzon Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka ken yehi ratzon ken yehi ratzon. May God bless you and protect you. May God show you favor and be gracious unto you. May God show you kindness and grant you peace and grant you peace. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom. Ken yehi ratzon, ken yehi ratzon, ken yehi ratzon, ken yehi ratzon. Siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov u'siman tov, siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov u'siman tov. Siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov u'siman tov. Yeilanu.
You can throw it back, Liza.
Yeilanu, Yeilanu, u'lecho Yisrael. Yeilanu, Yeilanu, u'lecho Yisrael. Yeilanu, Yeilanu, u'lecho Yisrael. Yeilanu, Yeilanu, u'lecho Yisrael.
Mazel tov, Liza, your family has it out for you.
Yeah.
And you like walked out from behind the plexiglass and gave them a target. Whoa, okay. James, your bar mitzvah's coming. Just remember, she's gonna remember what you did. Payback is tough. Yeah, Sherka, okay, Mazel tov. You guys can sit down for a moment. Turn back to our Sidurim, and I invite everyone to please rise, and I call on Liza's sister, Molly Simon, to lead us in a prayer for the United States of America.
Our God and God of our ancestors, with mercy accept our prayer on behalf of our country and its government. Pour out your blessing upon this land, upon its inhabitants, upon its leaders, its judges, officers, and officials, who faithfully devote themselves to the needs of the public. Help them understand the rules of justice you have decreed, so that peace and security, happiness and freedom will never depart from our land. Adonai, God, whose spirit is in all creatures, we pray that your spirit be awakened with all the inhabitants of our land. Uproot from our hearts hatred and malice, jealousy and strife. Plant love and companionship, peace and friendship among the many peoples and faiths who dwell in our nation. Grant us the knowledge to judge justly, the wisdom to act with our compassion, and the understanding and courage to root our poverty from our land. May it be your will that our land be a blessing to all who dwell on earth, and may you cause all peoples to dwell in our friendship and freedom. Speedily fulfill the vision of your prophets. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. For all of them, from the least of them to the greatest, shall know me. And let us say, Amen.
Amen. Avinu Shabashamayim, stronghold and redeemer of the people Israel, bless the state of Israel that it may be the beginning of our redemption. Shield it with your love, spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them, crown their efforts with triumph. V'natata shalom ba'aretz v'simchat olam liyoshveha. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy. And let us say, Amen. May be seated. We turn to page 181. Liza leads us in the Ashrei with her favorite melody from TIRS Hebrew School.
Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha Od Yehalelu Hasela. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha Od Yehalelu Hasela. Ashrei Ham Shikachalo. Ashrei Ham She'Adonai Elohav. Ashrei Ham Shikachalo. Ashrei Ham She'Adonai Elohav. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha Od Yehalelu Hasela. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha Od Yehalelu Hasela. Ashrei Ham Shikachalo. Ashrei Ham She'Adonai Elohav. Ashrei Ham Shikachalo. Ashrei Ham She'Adonai Elohav.
Asher Kochech. We turn to page 183. We rise for the conclusion of the Torah service. With this ark opening, we honor Liza's aunt and uncle, Shelley and Brian Satiski. Mazel Tov, good to see you guys. And James, you're back up. John, would you hand the Torah to Liza? Page 183, please rise.
Yehalelu et Shem Adonai, ki niskav Shemo levado.
Hodo al eretz v'shamayim, vayarem keren li'amo, tehila lechol chasidav, livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Mile David mizmor. Havul Adonai b'nei Elim, Havul Adonai kavod va'oz, Havul Adonai kevod shemo hishtachavul Adonai behadrat kodesh, Adonai l'mayim el kavod hirim, Adonai l'mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vayshaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, Vayarkidim kemo egel Lebanon, V'siryon kemo v'neremim, Kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholeh ובהיכלו כולו מרכבון. אדוני אבויה, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן. אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום, ובנוחו יאמר.
Page 184.
I have given you a precious inheritance. Do not forsake my teaching. It is a tree of life for those who grasp it, and all who hold on to it are blessed. Its ways are pleasant, and its paths are peace. Turn us toward you, Adonai, and we will return to you. Make our days seem fresh as they once were. Eitz chaim hi lama chazikim ba b'tom checha meushar derachecha darchei noam b'chol netivotecha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha b'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu kekedem.
We continue at the bottom of page 184. Musaf service starts with the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה ועמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחיי חון ובמכון ובחיי בית ישראל ועלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולם בהומיה יפרח יפרח וישתבח ויפאר ויתרבה וינעשה ויתהדר ויתלוש מרקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה וימרו אמן.
Page 185, Liza leads us in the beginning of the Musaf Amidah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Gadol Ha'el Hagadol Hagibur v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'chonei Hakol V'zocher Hasei Avod V'goel Lifnei V'neihem Leman Shemo V'Yahava Melech Ozer Ufoked U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ufoked Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye Metim Atarav Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem Mechakel Hayim Bechesed Mechaye Metim Berachamim Rabim Zomech Noflim Berafei Holim Umatir Asurim Umechaye Emunato Lishenei Afar Micha Mocha Bal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Memid Umechaye Umatzmiya Yeshua B'ne'eman Atah Lecha Chayot Metim Baruch Atah Adonai Mechaye HaMetim.
נעריצך ונקדישך כסוד שיח טרפי קודש המקדישים שמך בקודש ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא כל הארץ כבודו כבודו מלא עולם משור טוב שואלים זה לזה היה מקום כבודו לעומתם ברוך יאמרו ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו יפן ברחמים ויחונם המייחדים שמו ערב הבוקר בכל יום תמיד Hamayim be'ahava, Shema omrim, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Hu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu, Vehu Yashmienu, Berachamav Shenit, Berachamav Shenit, Leinei Kochai, Vehu Yashmienu, Berachamav Shenit, Berachamav Shenit, Leinei Kochai, Liolachem Lelohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem, ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור, הללויה.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. בשבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש.
ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue praying silently.
אני פורים, שמח ומבדח, הלא רק פעם בשנה אבוא להתארח. לי, 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 li. My name is Purim and I come, great fun and frolic bringing. Just once a year I visit you to cheer you with my singing. Li, 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 li. Hurrah, Purim, we love your merry drumming. And if we had our way, Purim, each month you would be coming. Li, 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 li.
Page 203, Kaddish Shalem.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. ויעמד יברח חירותי ומתמלכותי בחיי חונה ומחונה בחיי בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמיה. יפרח וישבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויצלם ויצלם שמי ליכוד שבריחו. לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צאתנו ובאותנו זוכר ישראל קדם אבון וישמעי ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רב מן שמעי וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
Amen. Page 204, En Kelohenu.
En Kelohenu, En Kadonenu, En Kemalkenu, En Kemoshienu, Mich Elohenu, Mich Adonenu, Mich Malkenu, Mich Moshienu. Nodel Elohenu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkenu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Elohenu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shiktiru, Avotenu, Lefanecha Ketoret Hasamim.
We rise for Aleinu, page 205.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליותר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו כחמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, מושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו, וגבי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו איnon, אמן מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום בהשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא אלוהים בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחת עינות. על כן נקבל לך ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
May be seated. We turn to page 207. This Shabbat, we mark the yortzites of Errol Cohen, Martin Katzen, Rhoda Gleiberman, Ruth Pear, Thomas Formica, Sam Cohen, Millie Harris, Ruth Newworth, Mordecai Richardson, Sidney Mandel, Lillian Zerner, Gladys Nathan, Alvin Gittler, Bernice Rotberg, Flora Rocklin, Esther Cole Vale, Alan Sykes, Mayor Hunger, Shirley Palmer, Naomi K. Kress, Jerome Burke, Isaac Medansky, Abraham Levine, Miriam Miller, Ann Hutterman, Sophie Dobbs, Pauline Bergen, Rebecca Gordon, Harry Levine, Abraham Goldstein, Robert Bob Guggenheim, Stanton Polyakov, Irving Livingston, Harry Goldfarb, Leonard Rabhan, May Kropp, Sonia Lusky, Anna Seigler, Louis Goldberg, Charlotte Gold, Judy Biber, Belia Wolfman, Lillian Messenger Bayer, Arnold Krastowski, Myron Kaufman, Renee Buxbaum, Florence Ziebel, Blanche Sanderson, Rebecca Moskowitz, Jerome Maddens, Vladimir Buckengoltz, Elaine Hirsch, Leonard Gordon, Rose Rosenthal, William Pagilio, Alfred Scher, Herbert Jackowitz, William Beanstalk, and Howard Campbell. We also extend condolences to families in the midst of Shloshim, to David Strunk for the passing of his mother, Jeanette Strunk, to Sam Levy for the passing of his brother, Erwin Levy, to Sherry Blenner and Bonnie Bornstein for the passing of their mother and grandmother, Vera Strogatz, to Sherry Teitelbaum for the passing of her mother, Lorraine Peck, and to Bob Abel for the passing of his brother, Theodore Abel. May all of their memories be for a blessing. Page 207, Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal, V'yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'yalmad Yivara Kirutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, V'chayechon, V'yamechon, V'chayeh, V'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agalau, V'zman Karib, V'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah, Mevorach, Leolam, Olameo, Maya, Yit Barach, V'yishtabach, V'yit Pa'ar, V'yit Romam, V'yit Nasei, V'yit Hadar, V'yit Aleh, V'yit Halal, Shemei, D'Kudsha, B'rihu, Le'elam, Yinko Berchata, V'shirata, Tush Berchata, V'nechamata, Damiran, V'yalma, V'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shlama, Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. Yaseh Shalom B'imromav, V'yaseh Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael, V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'yimru, Amen. May be seated. Now happy to call on President of Temple Israel, Teresa Brenner, for some words of Mazel Tov.
Thank you, Rabbi. Liza, please accept this gift bag from your Temple Israel family. It is my pleasure to let you know that you have received from the Women of Temple Israel Shabbat candle holders, from the Temple Israel Youth Group a Havdalah candle, from Hebrew High a trendy pop-up cell phone prop, from Men's Club an Etza Chaim traveling edition with a personal book plate, from your Temple Israel Board of Trustees an I Am Jewish book, and from your Temple Israel clergy, a beautiful English and Hebrew certificate. When you use or see these items in the years to come, may you recall the love of your parents and your family and the pride of your Temple Israel family on this joyous occasion. Shabbat Shalom, Temple Israel family. Thank you, Rabbi Walk and Cantor Lissick, for your inspiring words and song this morning, Sean Sievert for his audiovisual services, and Ariel DiDonato for serving as Zoom Gabbai. We have over 120 people, I think, on Zoom this morning and countless others on live stream. Mazel Tov to Liza Simon, your parents, Stephanie and John Simon, your siblings, Molly and James, your grandparents, Marcel and Alan Oxman, and Paul and Marcia Simon, and to your family and friends. Thank you for leading, singing, and praying with us so beautifully in this morning's services and last evening in Kabbalah Shabbat. We look forward to your participation in services for many years to come, and perhaps you or one of your siblings will follow in your grandfather's footsteps and spend 2 years sitting next to the rabbi on the bima. Next year, we will be celebrating the bat mitzvah of Jordan Sokolowitz, daughter of Sherry and Mark Sokolowitz. Jordan will lead us in Kabbalat Shabbat services on Friday evening at 6:15 p.m. and on Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. Please join Jordan and her family in celebrating her Simcha. Yashar Koah to each of this morning's Aliyot honorees, Torah and Haftorah readers, Aaron Rushvarg, Zeb Neuwirth, Irving Beanstalk, Karen Finley, Marcel and Alan Oxman, Marcia and Paul Simon, John Stephanie and Molly Simon, Liza Simon, Marcy Thaler, Mary Gordon, Barney Weinstock, and Liza Simon. This Sunday, tomorrow from 10 to noon, drive by Temple Israel and give to Men's Club new socks for Roof Above, which is formerly the Men's Shelter of Charlotte. The Empty Nesters Club will be hosting a Passover in Pandemic, celebrating apart when we want to be together on March 3rd at 8 p.m., led by our very own Rabbi Wolk, hosting this Zoom conversation. I believe it's this Sunday. The cantor will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think on Shira with Shira this Sunday, Camp Ramah Daron participants and representatives will be attending to share the exciting camp plans for this summer with our members of Temple Israel Religious School. Please don't miss it. Next week, we will be announcing many other wonderful Passover activities, so please stay tuned. After Shabbat, please see our website, Kol Israel, and your weekly email for complete information about the Shabbat Zoom link, the Stream Spot box, and upcoming events, including youth events with Al and Jonathan. We offer many opportunities for services, learning, community, and friendship. Please join us. Mazel Tov again, Liza, and Shabbat Shalom, Temple Israel family.
Thank you, Teresa. And now, happy to call on Liza's parents, John and Stephanie, to share some words with their daughter.
Oh, sorry.
Rabbi Walk, Cantor Lissick, we thank you. Eliza was more than prepared for today due to your support and being so organized. We've never had a child do a bat mitzvah over Zoom before, so hopefully this is the first and only over Zoom. The staff has made everything just seamless here, so we're very grateful. To our friends and family, we thank you also for being with us over Zoom. There's the camera. And your presence is just virtually is still heartwarming. So I'm so glad you're here to watch Liza as she went through the service today. And also I would like to thank the Temple Israel Religious School. They've been so helpful to Liza over the years, also making sure that she is prepared for today. Liza, now that you're a bat mitzvah, you have become an official congregant of our temple. And it has been our responsibility to guide you to this day. Moving forward, it becomes your responsibility to continue your Judaism, contribute to the Jewish community, and carry on the Jewish values that we have taught you. We cannot be more confident in your ability to do this because you are a miracle to us, Liza. Just like the oil in the eternal light. And you have just amazed us so many times already throughout your life. That is because you follow your heart and you lead from your heart. You were created in the image of God. And when you stray from God's commandments, you catch yourself. And when you see others stray from them, you notice. Now, we are not saying that you are flawless. Your brother and his sister can certainly attest to that. But we have watched you many times rise above pettiness and instead demonstrate the character and of a thoughtful person with strong convictions. It was you who helped lift up those children of the relatives. We are proud of how you've taken your bat mitzvah studies seriously and kept yourself accountable while also making it fun. We are proud, but not surprised, because that is the kind of person you have become. High energy, focused, disciplined, witty, and entertaining. Liza, your unlimited potential is glaring.
Liza, we admire all that you have accomplished in your life this far. Becoming a black belt in Taekwondo, devoting 5 years to being involved in Indian Princesses with Dad, learning to play tennis, self-teaching yourself to play ukulele, and becoming an up-and-coming leader in Kadima. Even more importantly is the bond you have established with Dad and me, and Molly and James. You are lucky to have an awesome older sister to bond with, and you have a connection with James like no other. You bring so much to our family dynamics. You are my weekday brunch chef, our dinner table comedian, and our resident IT person. You make it so much fun to be part of our family. I think we should all strive to dress well and wear a smile on our face. Our family can always count on you putting a smile on our faces. It is also very fitting that you would choose a song from Annie. You loved that musical from day one and often asked me to play Mr. Bundles as I carried you throughout the house in a laundry basket with laundry. Remember, I'm the one doing the chores, so the rest of you can watch Netflix. We love you. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov, mazel tov. Cantor, I didn't know 2 weeks in a row of bat mitzvahs who taught themselves to play ukulele.
That's true.
Doesn't happen so often.
Well, that would be perfect for our teenage rock band, Jewish teen rock band that's coming. So
No ukulele. Okay.
we could definitely use the ukulele and a voice like that.
We turn to page 211 for Adon Olam.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Li'ed Nasa, B'chevtzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, V'hu Haya, V'hu Hoveh, V'hu Yeh B'tifara Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Li'ed Nasa, B'chevtzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Eli, V'chai Goli, V'tur Chavli B'yitzara Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi, Hu Manos Li, Minat Kosi B'yom Ekra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Li'ed Nasa, B'chevtzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, B'yado Hafkin Ruchi, B'yitishan B'yayir Adon Olam, V'im Ruchi Gevioti, Adonai Li V'lo Adon Olam.
Please rise and raise your glass for Kiddush. Following Kiddush, we stay on Zoom for a special montage in honor of Liza. And then after the montage, unmute yourselves to shout Mazel Tov. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ve'ni u'b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim mi'et haaretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Vayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Al kein berach Adonai Shabbat vayikadeshehu, Savri Maranan Rabbanan Rabbotai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hagafen.
L'chaim.
Shabbat shalom, mazel tov.
Shabbat shalom, mazel